because it helps them when they don't fail. Like when Panda was doing well, VGBC was doing well, BTS was doing well. When one of them was struggling, the other two then start struggling. Like they all needed to work together. It was always ride or die. I think the most important thing, like, again, all of this is hearsay. Like, there's no hard proof of anything from either side, except from Smash World Tour with their side from Nintendo. They do have all of those receipts. Like, they do have that. That is all hard evidence. Everything else is hearsay at the end of the day. But the two big things here is in Smash World Tour's statement, as well as what LD posted, there's nothing that's been factually proven incorrect. In Alan's statement, there are two factually just blatantly wrong things that he says that are provably incorrect. And one of them's huge, because it's what he put as like the linchpin of his statement of Smash World Tour maybe being a gambit. It's where he said, I've been recently informed the main hotel in San Antonio listed in the Smash World Tour Discord did not have any pre-existing block or any expectation of large groups this weekend. There was no block canceled, it simply never existed. That is provably incorrect. Taking notes of a verbal conversation is not evidence. That's not substantiated stuff. Like, you can say anything there and claim that you were taking notes during a conversation. It's what Alan's done here with his notes. Kin also took notes about it. Either side could be completely lying about what I actually said there as a way of having, like, a little bit of a weapon down the line should they ever need it. It was a transcript, no? A transcript he wrote. I could have like, right now I could say the conversation you and I are having is you confessing to a crime and like, wow. User in chat said, oh my god, he buried the body underneath the pavement. Like, it's useless. Just because you say you're typing what happened, it's worthless unless it's like an unbiased third party that is transcribing it. Like, I just don't put stock into this, like, I took notes during our conversation and this is the truth, because you can't prove it. Which is why it's just hearsay. Yeah, it just proves they were talking about it back then. Oh, you're talking about Kin's tweet. Yeah, at the very least, his proves they were talking about Alan and his behavior all the way back in March. That is fair. I thought you were talking about the transcripts. That is a fair thing to say. Alan and Kin and LD were talking about Alan all the way back in March about what he was doing and how they didn't appreciate his behavior. That's fair. This is not claiming to be like a transcript of something that happened. This is just a conversation the two of them had in March. That's fair. Holy shit, this is actually from a TO of Genesis giving a character witness statement on Alan. This is, as I've just learned, Genesis is like an official licensed partner with Nintendo, or at least has been. Got some shit to say, not going into detail, but from the very first moment Alan opened his mouth to the last time we spoke, nothing but snake-like sounds could be heard, like that shit in Harry Potter. Parcel tongue, my man, it's called parcel tongue. That's aggressive. Again, this is all hearsay, but I think it's important to note, every TO so far has only had negative things to say about their interaction with Alan. There has not been a TO to come forward as like a positive character witness for Alan yet. There's no evidence, but this is like the 9th or 10th TO to share very similar experiences. In one call, it was confirmed that he was to be the licensed broker for the whole scene. This has the potential to be really, really bad for everyone. That means eventually, if you wanted to, you would have to be part of the Panda Cup to get a license, one person having the keys. If that's true, that is a massive problem. Obviously for the reason he points out, but also if he just doesn't like you, he never has to grant you that license. And thus, if the time of unlicensed events is truly behind us, like Nintendo said in their call with Smash World Tour, if all of that's true, then that means you would not be able to run events without Alan's blessing as the license broker. Can go on and on, but generally most of the shit he's saying in that 31-page garbage tweet is a lie. It's riddled with manipulative ways of speaking, and it's just more of what I expect of a guy who thinks he's the fucking savior of Smash. This is, I guess, an important perspective, because he is the TO of a very big event that is also licensed by Nintendo, and was not even mentioned in Alan's tweet, or in Alan's statement. Thus, he was not put on the defensive. He didn't need to say anything. He wasn't forced to say anything. He's doing this because he felt so strongly about it with his own interaction. He had absolutely no stake in this other than just wanting to come out here and give his take on how he feels about it based on how he's talked with Alan. So this, I think, is a pretty big one. Here's the other main TO for Genesis statement. Damn, everyone's coming forward with statements now. I mean, this was a bombshell from Alan. Even though there was no evidence, it was still a very huge thing for the community. So, Crimson Blur is standing up for Kin as a character witness for how they've worked together. To add on to this, I'd like to cite a situation that happened between Genesis and BTS that Kin could have completely thrashed this over privately and publicly, but didn't really even get mad or remotely raise his voice. So this is them defending Kin in what was a very aggressive stance from Alan against Kin. So this isn't him so much talking about Alan here, it's more just defending Kin. Which pokes holes in Alan's interpretation of Kin, posting him as some kind of, like, boogeyman in the scene. It's such a fucking shame, man. At the end of the day, I still think the biggest villain is Nintendo themselves. Had they just been more receptive to working with the community a decade ago, we would have never been in this position to begin with. It would have never happened. There would be no power trips, there would be no hearsay, no he said, she said shit, no potential misinterpretations, no bad blood. Everyone would be on the same goddamn page. It would have been so fucking simple. I spent over 2 years working with Kin in an office, never heard him yell or be out of line in even our biggest disagreements. Kin actually taught me a lot about being level-headed and evaluating tough situations with care, especially in meetings / BD initiatives. The amount of people coming out to defend Kin's character speaks volumes. Alan seems to be the only one with this view of Kin. No one else has come forward to corroborate Kin being an asshole. So that pokes doubt in that entire section. Because again, it's all just hearsay. Even like the character witness statements are just them giving their own anecdotal proof. But there's so many of them, whereas Alan is just one. And for what it's worth, I have also talked to Kin. Since having Moist Esports and being more intertwined with the community, I have also talked to Kin, and I have nothing but a positive experience with him as well, but I don't know him to the same level as everyone else. More and more OG members of the community come out to talk about Alan being a snake, makes it harder and harder to believe a word he says. Exactly, like, at the end of the day, it is all hearsay, but with so many people all saying similar things about their interaction with Alan, and so many people coming together on Kin's side about how his interpretation in Alan's document makes no sense, based on the years they've spent working with Kin, like, I really think that speaks a lot. The question now is, does Nintendo go full scorched earth on licensed events? Unlicensed events. I fucking hope not. In the most ideal of circumstances, this whole situation is a big scar on the Smash community, but it heals with Nintendo taking the first step saying, this is a mess. Boys, we done made a big ol' shit stain on these britches. But it has shown us the passion of the community and we want to work closely with other organizers. I don't see that happening. I certainly don't see